I promise you that I'm about to blow your mind with the most insane, out-of-this-world building you will ever see in your lifetime. I mean, let's look at this. This is gonna be the building. But instead of standing on the ground, it's going to be flipped upside down and then made to hang by a very strong cable. I'm reminding you, this is an actual real building in the making, planned by legitimate architects who have partnered with NASA. So how do they plan to do this? Is a floating building even scientifically possible? Why would we even need a building like this in the near future? And how soon can you live in a floating apartment like this? Nightfam, let me blow your mind with the world's first floating building. It's called the Analema Tower, and in a while I will explain to you why that name makes it extra amazing. This is not just a skyscraper, it's a space scraper. The entire floating upside down building will be suspended in the air and tied to an actual asteroid. Yes, an asteroid. This mind-blowing foundation will be called the Universal Orbital Support System, and the makers, the Clouds Architecture Office, will partner with NASA to do the following. Step 1. Get a piece of an asteroid through NASA's Asteroid Redirect mission and then put it in the Earth's stable orbit around the Moon. And I know just the first step is already frying your brain, but remember, back in 2014, the European Space Agency Rosetta mission successfully landed on the surface of a comet. So interacting with space objects is not a new thing. And now that leads us to step 2. Hang a super high strength cable on that asteroid lowered to the surface of the Earth and then place it in the Earth's fixed orbit so that it swings in a figure 8 all across the world. This is why it's called Analema, as the word refers to that 8-figure curve traced in the sky. In this case, it will be sweeping over New York, Florida, and down to South America before returning to exactly the same position each day. And finally, step 3, construct the world's tallest skyscraper around that high-strength cable hanging from the asteroid. All of this definitely sounds outrageously ambitious. See, in a world with increasingly destructive natural disasters, the architects are preparing for a new future where people won't be suffering anymore from floods, earthquakes, or tsunamis, because in a world where floating buildings
accelerate your engineering efforts with Finish Line Product Development Services. Finish Line PDS is a tailor-made engineering firm dedicated to serving small businesses and startups. We complement your existing team with the perfect blend of people, processes.
Walker Media Agency. Is your website holding you back?
like Analema exist, the unfortunate circumstances brought by Earth's nature can no longer delay or destroy people's lives. More importantly, the other way around becomes true too. By leaving the Earth's surface, we, humans, can no longer further destroy it with our destructive buildings and rapid urbanization. This means that if you get lucky enough to be the first residents of the Analema, your lifestyle will be so different from Earth's, and you will be operating within different rules of physics. First off, know that your address will never be permanent, since Analema will constantly be moving in that 8-figure route. I guess receiving packages from a space scraper will be a bit more complicated. But hey, all your necessities will be built in an out-of-world way. Power would certainly be sourced from the sun, through solar panels constantly being exposed to sunlight. Water from the tower will be captured from clouds, and the collected rainwater will be maintained in what they call a semi-closed loop system. And because this building is not just constantly moving, but also deals with different atmospheres in its different floors, the size and shape of windows will change according to the height to accommodate different pressures and temperatures. Those occupying the uppermost floors will get increased daylight delayed by 40 minutes due to the curvature of the Earth. Of course, at this point, these rich Analemma tenants would already need to wear spacesuits to go outside in an estimated temperatures of minus 40 Celsius. And the most exciting part, can you just imagine the unbelievable views you will see from windows up there? Just imagine slowly gliding your way over Earth, like that flying house from the movie Up, but this time seeing the view over New York City and then staring down the beaches of Brazil next. Perhaps even an everyday view of planes passing by your windows instead of cars. Every day must feel like a dream here. That is, unless the humans staying here get so used to the concept that it will soon feel like any regular building too. Because see, in all its craziness, Analemma was still designed to be a functional establishment. It will have hundreds of floors of restaurants, shops, offices, gardens, apartments, and even places of worship. Lower floors closer to Earth will be reserved for workspaces, shopping and entertainment. Middle section will be for farming and agriculture. Above the middle section of the building will be where residents will live, while the very top will be quite grim, the funeral home and graveyard. But okay, let's say you already live inside Analemma. How the hell will you get out of this floating building when you suddenly miss living on Earth? Well, the architecture company says this will be possible through large passenger drones and parachutes that you could take from the tower down to the closest landing space. They even said that New York and Dubai could be the main touch points, for example, although the proposal seems to call for constructing the tower in Dubai first. After all, Dubai is already used to making the fanciest, craziest building ideas possible. Now, of course, a lot of you watching this are still skeptical if this ambitious vision can even float. And I tell you, Night Fam, it's obviously very valid to feel that way. Because indeed, every step of this plan just involves so many risks. Like, first of all, it would take absurd precision to even make an asteroid follow an orbit, let alone not hit other space objects or Earth itself. And when the builders do get to make that happen, it's a whole another problem to make sure to build the world's strongest cables ever invented. In an email to NBC News, another architect praised for futuristic thinking said that Analemma is indeed a fun utopian mega project, but a cable suspended from space would simply break under its own weight. Can you imagine the utter devastation when Analemma breaks and falls onto New York City? Last time I heard about something